Hello everyone! Today we're doing Zeta lesson 18, dividing a whole number by a decimal, and word problems. Mainly just mean it's gonna have word problems, so sorry. Anyways, let's go ahead and review a little bit of last week before we hop on into this. I want to make sure everybody's refreshed. So last week we were just dividing decimals by whole numbers. And this is totally a great thing to have. You know, of course, every math teacher says, remember everything I say. But this one is actually really good. Let's ignore that for right now. That's for a moment. But say we have 9 into, say you have $200. Specifically, you have $200.07, and you want to buy 9 of the world's largest pumpkins. How much does each pumpkin cost if they say, yeah, sure, I'll give it to you for $200? All right. How many 9s go into 2? 0. How many 9s go into 20? 9, 18, 27. We can't fit that third one in. Only 2, and it goes above the number that you're working on. 2 times 9 is 18. Can you take 8 from 0? Nope, you're going to have to borrow. 1, 10, 2. We've got it again. 20. Another 2. 18. Well, the same thing, 2. Okay, now we've got our point thrown in. All right, that means our point right here needs to line up with our numbers there. 2.0. It doesn't mean anything down here. This is still just a 20, but it's important for up here because once we hit that point, that means, okay, now we're going below the whole numbers. Now we're going into less than $1 or less than a whole number. All right? So it's not really needed down here. It's more important up here. Again, we have another 2. 18, 2, and we drop our 7. How many 9s go into 27? 9, 18, 27. 3. 27, 0. Okay, so if we have the world's largest pumpkins, what a score! You got 9 of them for only $22.23. What a score! All right, so that's a little bit of last week. The main thing is remembering our point. That was the entire point of last week's lesson, is knowing where to put the decimal. All right, so this week we're doing the same thing, but we're just doing it in a little more concentrated of word problems. All right, so this week, here's our first problem. How many quarters of $1 are in $6? Okay, so let's think. How many quarters of $1? How many quarters are in $1? There's 4 quarters in $1. All right, but the main thing they're asking is they're not asking by fours. They're asking how many quarters of $1? How much is a quarter of $1? 25 cents into $6. All right. This looks a little bit on the confusing side, but remember how last week I said if you need to, you can add more zeros. You can move it. The zeros on the end don't matter. Well, now we're going to have to be moving our decimal. All right? You can't have a decimal in the number that you are using to divide. You just can't have a decimal. It doesn't. You can, I'm sure, if you're super duper smart in calculus or something. You don't need to, though, because there's an easier trick. If you are dividing by a decimal, you can move your decimal so in this one you can move as many times as you want. In this specific one, we want this to 0.25 to be a whole number. We're going to move it 1, 2 times. All right? If I do it to one side, just like how we did fractions and solving for unknowns, I have to do it to the other side as well. If instead of 0.25 into $6, I'm doing 25 into 600. All right? I'm changing my problem to suit my needs. That's so nice. All right. So now instead of 0.25 into 6.00, it's just 25 into 600. Makes it a lot easier. But I can't forget, I do have my point at the end. All right. Unless I need it, it's important. Well, unless I need it, it's not really important. But we'll go ahead and put that. We can put our points. I erased them, but you can put them back if you want to make sure to just keep it straight. So it's 25 into 600. How many times can 25 go into 6? None. How many times can 25 go into 60? 25, 50, 75. 75 is too high. 2 times. 50 minus 1, 0, 0. I dropped my 100. How many times can 25 go into 100? 25, 50, 75, 100. 4 times. 4 times minus 100. Point. All right. So 24. Now this is what it's showing me. When we check it though, watch this. All right. We can do 24. Now when we check our 24, what do you think we're going to do down here? Our original question was how many quarters of a dollar are in $6? So think about it. Am I going to times my answer by 25? Or am I going to times my answer by 0.25? I'm going to times my answer by 0.25 because I'm checking for this spot. We moved these just for the ease of our problem, so we didn't have to worry about our decimals. All right, well, let's go ahead and check it and see what we get. 5 times 4, 20. 5 times 2, 10, plus 2 more, 12. Don't need that. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 0, 10, 600. How many times over do I need to move my decimal? Because you cannot forget your decimal. Okay? Plus 2. 2 times over, 1, 2. Did we get our answer? Yes. There are 24 quarters, because a quarter is 25 cents. There are 24 quarters of a dollar in $6. All right? It's all in the wording of the problems. I know it's confusing. Don't worry, you're all very smart. You will get this. All right? Okay. So the next one we'll go ahead and do. Okay, the next one we'll go ahead and do is 0.3 into 18. Okay, here we have it again. Pesky point. But this doesn't have a point in it. What is your guess? Take a sec. Think about it. So I previously said we don't want a point in our number that we are going to divide by. I'm going to do what? I'm going to hop it along. I'm going to move it to make it a whole number. All right? But if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other. Okay? Where's my point here on the 18? My point is at the end of the number. It's a whole number. It's like there's an invisible point there. It's just, boop, it's 18. That's its whole number. There's nothing behind it. It's like 18.0. But if I'm moving my place value one side to the right, I have to move my place value one side to the right. My invisible point now moves over. You can always put in your point. Now it's 180. All right. So I can erase this. I can erase this. Okay? I put my point. I know, though, that I need to multiply it by its original number. But for the ease of our problem, we can do this. Okay, so 3 into 1, no. 3 into 18, yeah. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, how many 3's go into 0? 0. Minus 0 equals 0. I have nothing else to drop. I'm at my point. Score. I've come out clean. Now let's see. If I do 60 times 3, if I don't move my point back, will I get this new number? All right. 180, 180. This works if it's just a problem like this. If it's a word problem, it can get much more confusing, like the first time where I needed to check ahead of time. I needed to check the original answer to make sure I knew what I was doing and that I made sure I had my decimals correct. With this, you don't really need to check and go back. I didn't need to do this by 0.3 and I didn't need to move this back because it was just a simple question. All right? This does not require labeling. This does not require anything like that. All right? It was just 0.3 into 18. All right? So if I wanted to do my original question, which sure, that's totally fine. 0.3, I would just need to move it 1 over, and it would be 18. We got it right. All right? I will accept either, but you have to stick, like you can't have like half of it one way and the other half the other way. Like you either have to have it all, like I don't mind if you go between, like if maybe one of them you do this and then you don't, well, you just got to check it the way that you did it. That's my main thing. I know, it's a little confusing, but don't worry, we'll work through it together. All right, let's do another one. All right, 0.05 divided by 121. What is the first thing we do here? What's the thing I don't like? I don't like the points in our divided by number. All right, what am I going to do? The first thing I'm going to do, move my points. I need my divided by number to be a whole number. All right, I'm going to move it over 2 times. 1, 2. My number has now become a 5. It is a whole 5. All right, there it is. A whole 5. I don't even have to put that 0 in there anymore because I took it out. I moved it. But if I moved 2 spaces to the right on that one, I have to do it to the other one as well. This is where my invisible point is. Now I'm going to move it 2 spaces to the right. 1, 2. And what am I going to do with those 2 spots? Leave them blank? No, I need to fill in my zeros. All right, you can take out the swoopies and you have your new point. All right, now we just go ahead and divide. How many 5s go into 1? None. How many 5s go into 12? 2, and that's 10. 2, and I drop the 1. 2, that's, oh, that didn't happen. How many 5s go into 20? 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. 4, 20. 1, drop down. How many 5s go into 10? 2, minus 10, 0. How many 5s go into 0? 0. Don't forget to work through each one. All right, minus 0 equals 0. I'm done. And I've hit my point, score. I don't have to worry about anything. So how many 5s are in 12,100? 2,420. Let's check. 2,420 times 5. 0, 10, 21, 10, 12. And that's it. That's our number. If I wanted to, you could revert back. You could say, okay, I moved this over 2 spaces, I moved this over 2 spaces. For the sake of this lesson, let's not worry about it. Alright? Only if it asks you. So, if the question, let's see, so there's a word problem that goes along with this question. Let's see, it says, how many sets of 5/100ths of a dollar? How much is 5/100ths of a dollar? That's what we just did here, equals 0.05. 5/100ths of a dollar are in $121. Okay, we had our 0.05, we moved it over 2 times, we moved it over 2 times. So it's all in the word problem. So if it says, how many of those are in $121? Okay, 5 cents, we move it for our ease. There are 2,420 nickels, or 5 cents, 5/100ths of a dollar, or 1/20th of a dollar. Alright? These are confusing times in the kingdom, my friend. Go slow. They're word problems. They're meant to stink. Alright? But just go slow. Look at the words. 5/100ths. 5/100ths. Go back to our turning fractions into decimals and percentages. Okay? 5/100ths is 0.05. What about if I said, I don't know, let's do 4/20ths. 4/20ths. And if I wanted that in decimal, what would that be? Alright? If I wanted that in a decimal, think about it. How would I make this 100? 20 times what number? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 5, 5. Alright? 4 times 5 is what? 0.20. 4/20ths would be 0.20. Alright? So think about how many spaces you need to move. Your parents have answer keys. If you need to, you can always check with them to check your answers. Go slow. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask me, go ahead, circle them, see what you can do on your own. Circle the ones you're having trouble with, and then go ahead and call me, because I want to know your questions, because this is tough, and I'm happy to FaceTime with you anytime tomorrow. Okay? Alright. Good luck, my friends. I hope it all goes well, and go ahead and give me a call if you need to.